On a cold December night in Detroit, a figure carrying a cardboard box trudged through the snow-covered streets. The person hurried toward a nearby school, its doors locked for the night. Reaching the front steps, they set the box down and vanished into the snowy darkness. The box remained there, untouched, until a Good Samaritan, hearing something unusual, a faint cry cutting through the typically quiet halls, gathered the courage to investigate. By 6 p.m., the school's hallways were silent, as they always were at that hour. The janitor, familiar with the quiet, was used to mopping the floors with only his thoughts to keep him company. But that particular night, everything changed. As the janitor finished his nightly rounds, he heard a soft whimper. He froze. Like every night, he assumed he was the only person left in the entire school. So what was making that noise around the corner? There was only one way to find out. The janitor rounded the corner and saw nothing. But then he heard the sound again, a cry. This time he was determined to find its source. The sound led him to the front of the school, and he realized it was coming from outside the front door. The janitor flung the doors open, and what he saw melted all his fears away. Sitting on the stoop was a cardboard box. Inside, he was greeted by the big brown eyes of a puppy. The janitor looked around for whoever might have left the box, but all he saw were street lamps and snow. That's when he realized the puppy had been abandoned in the middle of a frigid Michigan winter. Quickly, he picked up the box and carried it into the warmth of the school. It was then that he noticed the puppy wasn't alone. Whoever had left the puppy had done their best to keep it safe, leaving it with a blanket, food, and holes for breathing. They had also left a heartbreaking note for whoever found the little pup. "Sorry, it didn't have a home and was cold, so we're giving it to you," the note read. "Please find it a nice home." The janitor knew he had to honor that request, so he pulled out his phone. He remembered a teacher at the school who was famous for her love of dogs, and he happened to have her number. As soon as she heard the story, she rushed over to the school to see the puppy for herself. She immediately fell in love with the little pup. But there was a problem. There was no room left at her house. She already had 5 dogs running around, so as much as she adored the abandoned puppy, she simply couldn't take it in. Thankfully, the Detroit Pit Crew Dog Rescue came to the rescue. After taking one look at the pup, like everyone else, they quickly fell for its big eyes and adorable nose. However, there was one problem. They couldn't take her in without giving her a name. Everyone had been so focused on finding her a home that they hadn't even thought of naming her. The teacher had the perfect name in mind, Snowflake, fitting for the little pup who had survived the cold Michigan winter. Once the dog rescue team took Snowflake in, the teacher was reassured that she would be safe. As it turns out, she had nothing to worry about. The Detroit Pit Crew Dog Rescue made it their mission to give stray dogs a safe home, and Snowflake was no exception. Snowflake's situation was not uncommon. The organization rescued abandoned dogs all year round, but winter was the most dangerous time for these poor pups. With icy streets and freezing temperatures, there was no telling what could happen to them. Snowflake, at least, was now safe and sound and ready for a makeover. After being fed and cleaned up, Snowflake started to perk up. As she returned to her sweet self, the rescue team knew they had to get their cameras ready. They posted photos of Snowflake on social media, hoping someone out there would adopt her. The end goal was to find her a forever home, but until then they had plans. With the holidays approaching, they dressed her in an adorable green Christmas sweater and gave her a Santa Claus toy to play with. She even posed in front of a Christmas tree. Imagine finding her under your tree on Christmas morning. Snowflake also made plenty of new friends at the Detroit Pit Crew Dog Rescue, from the kind-hearted volunteers to the other dogs at the foster home. Yet, despite her popularity, the reality of the situation was hard to forget. You'd expect a sweet puppy like Snowflake to be adopted instantly, but just before Christmas, she faced a sad setback. A potential owner chose another dog. It looked as though Snowflake would spend Christmas alone. However, the very next day, her luck changed and she was adopted. The little pup had come a long way from that cold night on the school steps. Thanks to the kindness of strangers and the efforts of the rescue team, Snowflake finally found her forever home.